Oluwasegun Ogunsakin from Department of Peace and Security Studies, Ekiti State University, Ado Ekiti, Ekiti State, Nigeria. And Mr. Oluwasegun present paper entitled Protection and Enhancing of Human Rights Inclusion for Sustainable Democracy in Nigeria. So without further ado, I will give a opportunity for our first speaker this afternoon. Please, Mas Musdodi, the time is yours.
Share my screen first.
Twenty minutes maximum ya, Mas Musdodi ya. Okay, please start.
Can you see my screen? Thank you for this opportunity for me to present my research with the title, Do Not Take Our Home, the Challenge of Suku Anak Dalam's Life Under the Demands of Modernization. So before I start this presentation, I will give to all of you 5 seconds to choose which one of these pictures do you want to become your future home. So I'll give you 5 seconds to think from this picture, which one do you choose to become your future home? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, have you choose that? Or is there none of this picture do you want to have? Okay, no problem. But I believe that you have already thinking the future home. Unfortunately, the future home, like the dream for a lot of people, is extremely different to this community. A lot of people think that they have to live in big house with very wide pool, for example. Many people want to live in huge home with very good connection and complete facility. But that is very different to this community. So who are they? They are suku anak dalam. The suku anak dalam, also known as orang rimba or Kubu people, are an indigenous group living in rainforest of Sumatra, Indonesia. They are one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer societies globally, and they have a very strong connection to nature. Their number around 200,000 people. Mainly, they live in Jambi province, with smaller group in South Sumatra and Province Riau. Living in decentralized nomadic family group, their social structure is informal. The suku anak dalam's traditional lifestyle centers on hunting, gathering, and fishing. They have a deep understanding of the forest, allowing them to thrive or grow faster. Their simple shelters made of leaves and branches are moved frequently to follow food availability. So in short, the suku anak dalam are an indigenous group in Sumatra with a small population living in a decentralized manner, relying on hunting, gathering for their livelihood, and maintaining a close connection with the natural environment. The suku anak dalam have a rich culture. The culture deeply connected to nature. They believe in a spiritual world inhabited by forest spirits, ancestors, and natural forces. This spiritual perspective is expressed through their art, music, dance, forming a crucial part of their cultural identity. the suku anak dalam also face several challenges such as deforestation and discrimination. They are also vulnerable to disease and conflict with other groups. Despite this challenge, various and conflicts, various organizations and individuals actively work to protect the rights and tradition of suku anak dalam, like NGO or the other activism. The suku anak dalam are a vital to Indonesia culture heritage and play a key role in rainforest conservation. Respecting their traditional lifestyle is crucial. Collaborative efforts are necessary to ensure their continued existence, emphasizing the importance of working together for their preservation. Yeah, there's a program designed by government since 2015. The program called the 1 Million Houses Program, or in bahasa sejuta rumah untuk rakyat. This program aims to improve the welfare and guarantee the needs of every citizen to get a more decent place to live. But the main question is, would the programs be suitable for SAD or suku anak dalam? One of the article I've read from Rina Astarika mentioned that since the 1950, the government tried to help the suku anak dalam by building homes in their village for a better life and a stronger economy. Despite this effort, the SED chose to go back to the forest, and the government's plan didn't work. So this problem shows a bigger issue. The government usually decide things without really listening to the people. Since the country became independent, the government has been making traditional group become more modern, kind of like forcing them. So in summary, the government tried to help the SED by building houses, but the plan failed because the government didn't really talk to the SED or understand what they needed. This has been a problem for a long time, where the government makes decisions without considering what the community wants or what community needs. Regarding to SED, the government aimed to transform their outlook through the Million Houses program, seeking to grant them equal rights in health, education, and finance. Unfortunately, progress in this initiative has come to stand still since 2021. The main issue lies in the government's focus on constructing houses outside the SED's original neighborhood without consulting them about what they need. Instead of attempting to modernize, the SED it underscores the importance or understanding their viewpoint that considers the forest as their home. This understanding becomes crucial for ensuring their citizenship status and rights are fulfilled. This research challenges the prevailing top-down approach and suggests a more inclusive strategies for better outcomes. So in essence, it counters a shift away from forcing change onto the SED towards a more cooperative approach that consider their unique perspective. So the suku anak dalam possess a profound understanding of the deep connection between human and nature. They view the forest not merely as a resource for humans, but as a shared space meant for all living beings. Within their territory, the SED designate sacred forest areas known as Tano Badewo and Tano Suban or Tano Tempelanai. Here, they conduct rituals to honor Badewo, a god-like figure believed to reside reside in their forest. This demonstrates the spiritual significance they attach to their natural surrounding. The SED showcased their environmental awareness by dividing and naming 15 forest areas within their territory. This reflects their in-depth knowledge and deep understanding of diverse components of their environment. The SED believe in a religious duty to protect the environment. They assert that harm inflicted upon nature can have good on them, emphasizing their belief in the interconnectedness of all cosmological inhabitants. The SED connection with nature extends beyond practical consideration. It is deeply rooted in their religious commitment and practice. The ritual and belief affirms the sanctity of their relationship with the natural world. Recognizing the crucial role of forests, the SED comprehend their significance in maintaining environment and supplying oxygen to urban community or the globally community. They essentially act as stewards of the environment, acknowledging the forest as vital for ecological balance. By safeguarding their forests, the SED play a, a vital role in preserving what is often referred to as the lungs of the planet. The vital role forests playing maintain the Earth's oxygen level and ecological health. Rather than pushing for modernization for SED, this research suggested that so-called modern respecting and understanding. So, in conclusion, the usual way of making things modern, which focus on control and making everything the same, doesn't work well for the suku anak dalam because they really care about the forest. When the government uses physical construction as a way to modernize, it separates the SED from the forest, causing problems like exploitation and damage to the environment. A better plan would be for the government to talk and listen to the SED, understand what they need and how they see the world. Treat them like equal citizens, making the SED stronger, giving them rights, and helping them to think in a way that won't hurt the environment. Having open conversation with the SED could lead to plans that respect their way of thinking and also make things better for both the community and the environment. If the government recognize the value and acknowledge for the SED, they can become a more important part of Indonesia's diverse society. So in short, we need to change how we try to make things modern for the SED. Instead of making them leave the forest, we should work together, learn from each other, and make things better for everyone. So yeah, it's all for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Musdodi, for your presentation. It is a very, very interesting presentation. I think we can discuss it more later after all the presenter present their paper. And there are also one presenter that who just joined with us, Mas Nuruddin Al-Akbar. Hello, Mas Nuruddin.
Hello, Pak Eric.
Okay, yeah, thank you for joining us. Mas Nuruddin is coming from Universitas Gadjah Mada, and this afternoon, Mas Nuruddin will present a paper entitled "From Physical to Metaphysical Foundation of Earth Democracy: Reflection on Radha Krishnan's Philosophy of Religion." And okay, for the next presenter, please, Mr. Oluwasegun. The time is yours.
All right, thank you, Prof. Please permit me to share my screen.
Please. Okay.
Right. All right, thank you so much, sir. And also, I want to appreciate the organizer of this important conference for giving me the opportunity to present my paper. All right. Okay, my name is Oluwasegun Ogunsakin. I'm from Nigeria, from the Department of Peace and Security Studies in the Ekiti State University, Ado-Ekiti, Nigeria. I'm a PhD candidate in my 4th year right now. So, and I would love to present my paper on protection and enhancing of human rights inclusion for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. As we know that Nigeria is a multi-ethnic and culturally diverse nation of 36 autonomous states and the Abuja Federal Capital Territory, according to the World Bank 2023 and Oloke 2023, with more than 220 million population and various languages. The nation is endowed with natural resources, according to Ajayi, Falola, Eric, Green, and Udo 2023. And also, according to Aduba 2012, human rights are important and that they are essence of every human being, namely defining and affirming to their humanity. And also, according to the United Nations, democracy provides a society that respects human rights and fundamental human freedoms, expression, and conscience in which the free will of the people is exercised. In my study, Nigeria is being taken as a case study about enhancing and also protecting human rights for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. In my study, I engage in deck research and also an exploration of various data and also literatures that are connected to the subject of this presentation. Sources are taken from articles, journals, government reports, newspapers, and the internet were also being analyzed through content analysis about human rights, inclusion, and sustainable democracy in Nigeria. Now, I would love to start the conceptual discourse about my presentation. Now, let me just start about the history of Nigerian democracy. Nigeria came, I would say there was a transition of, power from the military. That was in May 29, 1999. That was when Nigeria was transited from the military regime to the democratic regime. And the first president that was taken in that aspect was the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR. And Nigeria has experienced a lot of human rights abuse, even from the time of the military regime in the 1980s down to towards the beginning of the millennium. So when we talk about the human rights in my conceptual discourse, I discuss human rights as the rights that all people have, regardless of race, gender, nationality, tribe, language, religion, or other status. And also human rights entails the right to life, liberty, freedom, freedom from suffering, torture, and also freedom of speech, opinion, conscience, and the right to work and learn, and many more, according to Sharma, Singh, and Bertigi in 2020. Now, when you look at sustainable democracy protects and advances the right to vote, the right to democratic culture, and community values. And it is developing all aspects of democracy and healthy democratic atmosphere that benefit present and future generations, according to Ogbe and Oji 2020. Now, sustainable democracy, now looking at it, it means thinking about approaches to address the root causes of anti-democratic behavior by collaborating information and communication technology and civic education to educate the public about democracy. Now, looking at my findings, as I said that in my presentation or in my study, it entails a lot of literatures and also antecedents of issues that have occurred about human inclusion and also how to protect human rights for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. Understand how human protection and also enhancing human rights in Nigeria can be achieved. Now, human rights inclusion and sustainable democracy in Nigeria. Now, it cannot be denied that the Nigerian Constitution contains many complex provisions that provide basic rights to Nigerian citizens. Now, I would love to go back by bringing about the constitutions that the Nigerian government or the Nigerian people use. And that constitution was developed and presented in, that was 1999, after the transition from the military rule to the democratic rule. So the Nigerian people uses the 1999 constitution. Now, moreover, there is no doubt that these provisions align with the international human rights instruments to deepen democratic governance in the country. Nevertheless, what is worrying is how successive governments, particularly the current administration of His Excellency Senator Ahmed Tinubu, who is the current Nigerian president, how is the human rights inclusion, including people, that are living in the low-income communities, people that are not rich, the indigenous people, just like what my last presenter discussed about. How are they included in the provisions of a sustainable democracy and how their rights is being guided? Now, in the Nigerian Constitution, we have numerous rights, and some of them entails civic and political rights, economic, social, and cultural rights, women and children's rights, rights of the vulnerable persons, environment and sustainability, and business and human rights. There are a lot of, the Nigerian constitutions which are being embedded. For instance, in the chapter 4 of the Nigerian 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it maintains that everybody has a right to life, right to live, right to move to any locations of the country that they believe they need to go to, rather than being restricted from owning properties or moving to any location in the country. Now, this is what I was able to detect about the various human rights inclusion in and sustainable democracy in Nigeria. Now, protecting and enhancing human rights inclusion for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. Now, yes, Nigeria have faced a lot of past issues about human rights of people being infringed, whereby people are being denied of their human rights, especially in terms of voting, whereby we have cases of people unable to vote due to vote buying, due to electoral violence, due to lack of support for people, especially in the area of protection against terrorism, in the area of protection against criminality in the country. So we have a lot of issues like that are happening in Nigeria. But how does protecting and enhancing human rights inclusion for sustainable democracy need to be put in place? Number one is promoting justice and the rule of law. Yes, we know that there are diverse, just like what I said in the course of this presentation, that we have more than 220 million population in the country, and Nigeria is the third most populated country after China. and also, if I'm correct, I think 6th or 3rd. But in Africa, Nigeria is the most populated with more than 220 million population. So how does this people's rights, how is it being protected? And that was why I said that the promoting justice and the rule of law, that every Nigerian have right to justice, right to the rule of law, respect for human rights, combating the resurgency of authoritarianism influences, just like what is happening in Africa right now, where we have a lot of coup d'etat from Niger to Burkina Faso to Gambia, to Gabon, whereby we have a lot of issues going on, whereby democracy is not being protected. But in Nigeria, how do we do this? And it also involves participation and inclusion of the people. For human rights of the people to be protected, then there is need for participation and inclusions of the Nigerian people. Now, the implication of protecting and enhancing human rights inclusion for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. Now, what are the effects? What are the implications? After consulting various literatures, academic journals, and also government reports, and also the United Nations Department for the Human Rights, I was able to detect that when we promote and we enhance human rights inclusion, which involve inclusion of the indigenous people, inclusion of the poor, inclusion of the of women, of the youth, and the older people, then we achieve what I was able to get, whereby there is going to be freedom to follow their religion. People will not be, will not be forced to practice their religion. People will not be denied of their rights, of their conscience, their rights of their belief, of their right to any faith that they wish to, to practice. And also another implication is that human rights offer a common benchmark that makes states being responsible, taking responsibility in terms of providing quality education for the people, providing security, providing a quality livelihood for women, and also prevention of gender-based violence or domestic violence. And also another implication is that human rights guarantee that people's fundamental necessity is being addressed. And also it also enables individuals to love whomever they want to love. That is, get married to whomever they want to get married to, access to quality education, environmental protection, and also the vulnerable population are protected against exploitation by human rights invaders. Also, Nigerian people can fight against social corruption via their human rights inclusion. All right. Now, getting to know these implications, their challenges, I believe that some of us who are non-Nigerians, because I know that this is an international platform, we might have been hearing about cases of abuse of people's rights, and just like the case of the NSAS that occurred on October 2020 during the pandemic, whereby we have a lot of police brutality, whereby people's rights are not being protected. Now, what are the challenges about this promoting and also protecting the human rights inclusion for sustainable democracy in Nigeria? And one of them is the issue of terrorism and banditry. Nigeria is engulfed with a lot of terrorism, with a lot of Boko Haram invasion in the northeastern part of the country. We have the cases of the bandits, from neighboring countries invading people's properties, especially their farmland in the middle belt part of the country. We have challenges like that, which is facing protecting and enhancing human rights inclusion in the country. And also poverty is also another challenge, a problem facing democracy and the rule of law. Also challenges faced by groups in danger, that is the activists, whereby they are being encroached by the government of Nigeria because they speak their mind, because they speak against the lack of inclusion in government policy making. Also, the issue of disobedience to judgment. We have cases whereby the judiciary, whenever they give their judgment against government, a lack of inclusion or provision of the necessary things for the Nigerian people, we have cases whereby the judiciary pass a judgment and the government fail to obey what the government and what the judiciary has passed. This is a shambles. This is a slap to democracy, to human rights in Nigeria. So these are challenges we are facing in the country. Also, my recommendations after I was able to, do my analysis, engage in a lot of content analysis, and also a lot of empirical studies. I was able to list out some major recommendations which we support promoting and also enhancing human rights inclusion for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. One of them is strengthening of the Nigeria extrajudicial bodies. That is, the Nigerian judicial system needed to be strengthened against from interference, against from government influence. The judiciary need to be neutral, need to be autonomous, whereby it is not being interfered by the government. And also democracy sustainment, whereby Nigerian democracy need to be sustained, because Nigeria is being looked at as a giant of Africa, whereby other African countries are looking towards. Then if Nigeria need to be like that, then democracy need to be sustained. Also creating, designing, and putting into practice democratic, representative, adaptable, accessible, and responsible legal structures and procedure, which will help in safeguarding people's rights against abuse, against human rights incursion by the government. Also providing legal education, citizenship education that will enlighten the people about their fundamental human rights, which is essential for achieving sustainable democracy in Nigeria. And also allowing the civil society, CSO, to participate in discussions on promoting and enhancing human rights inclusion policy in the country. In my conclusion of my study, this study examined protecting and enhancing human rights inclusion for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. And it was found that human rights inclusion in Nigeria is vital to achieving sustainable democracy. And it should also be noted that the Nigerian Constitution, with its various legal frameworks, must be enhanced, must be restructured to ensure that all citizens are included in protecting human rights. And this study highlights that although there are challenges facing Nigeria right now, but the development of action-based policy will lead to sustainable democracy and push for inclusive human rights for all people of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Oluwasegun, for a very fruitful presentation and already give us just like many new knowledge about sustainable democracy, especially from the case of Nigeria. And the next, I want to invite Mas Nuruddin Akbar to present his paper. Please, Mas Nuruddin, the time is yours.
Yes, thank you, Pak Eric. I just experienced electricity problem. Alhamdulillah, the problem is solved. Yes, I will first my PPT. Can you watch the PowerPoint presentation, Pak Eric? My PowerPoint was able to see in here. Hello?
Yeah, please continue.
Okay.
We already see the
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Here I want to present my my study or my paper about from physical to metaphysical foundation of democracy, reflection on Radhakrishnan philosophy of religion. I will start from introduction. So my introduction is another route of our democracy is possible. I will explain it further. So what is the study about? Yeah, the study attempt to show the relevance of Radhakrishnan thought in relation to strengthening the foundation for a democracy. So the main question in this study is: it is possible to find metaphysical foundation for a democracy. We will explain later about what is a democracy. But I want to say that in the study, in the original scheme of our democracy, concept of our democracy developed by Vandana Shiva, she relies more on the latest finding in physics, especially regarding quantum physics, with emphasizing the interconnection of all things, including human and nature. But the study, following Hussein Nasr thesis, he's also environmentalist, that we need the rehabilitation of metaphysics, and not just new physics. But new physics is very important, but we need more to revive metaphysics to save the environment. I think in line with Nasr thesis, Alan Badiou, a French philosopher, also says that it is very important to embrace metaphysics again, to reactivating the politics, because for Badiou, politics today, democracy today is having a very complicated problem, and for Badiou, if we don't embrace metaphysical again, we are not. It's very difficult to solve the many problems in our democracy. And these studies believe that Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, this is an Indian philosopher, and also he is a president of India. I think in the 16th. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan interpretation of the concept of Tattvam Asi. This is the Hindu concept. He interpret this concept of Tattvam Asi as a spiritual foundation of world civilization. I think this concept is relevant to become a metaphysical basis for Earth democracy that was developed by Vandana Shiva. So the study, in line with Nasr's position, the study believes that religion has a fundamental role in effort to save the environment. This is the idea of Tattvam Asi, Hindu philosophy. It's mean that you are that, or you are the. Actually, you have a transcendental or ultimate reality inside you. We will explain later. And the study want to know, is it possible? The study says that it is possible to find metaphysical foundation. But before entering into a discussion of the metaphysical foundation of our democracy, the studies must first elaborate on the concept of our democracy and its relevance for saving the environment and also indigenous communities whose existence is usually most affected by environmental damage. We will talk about the significance of our democracy for environment and indigenous people. Actually, not only indigenous people, but all people around the world, because everything is interconnected for Vandana Shiva. Yes, this is I think the definition, the definition of our democracy. So, what is a democracy? We can say that our democracy is a democracy that connects people in circles of care, cooperation, and compassion instead of dividing them through competition and conflict, fear, and hatred. So the philosophy of our democracy is actually the philosophy of connection, not disconnection. The connection here means the connectivity between the human and nature, human and other human, but not like in the contemporary democracies that for Vandana Shiva is based on logic of atomism. So there's no connectivity. This is a problem for Vandana Shiva. We can say that democracy can be placed as a philosophy or new consciousness, but it is also a movement. As a philosophy, he she emphasizing that our democracy is about philosophy of universalizing the idea of peace, care, compassion, from I-ness to we-ness, and intrinsic values of human and environment. Yes, this is beyond human right anthropocentric regime, and as a movement, this is also an experiment to actualize the democracy in everyday life in our earth, both local and global. So this, as a movement of democracy, is a movement to reclaim democracy, to reconnecting man with the universe and with the fellow man. So this is all actually about the reconnecting the people and the earth and the universe. So there's a fundamental principle, but actually there's a time, but actually it is about I say about ethicalizing democracy to reconnect our politics. If Badiou says that our politics is actually apolitical, we must reconnect again politics with the people and environment. So our politics actually for Vandana Shiva or for Badiou is actually elite based politics, not common. People is an environment voice is missing it. So I will say that our democracy is actually about connectivity. So in Vandana Shiva argument is because our thinking about democracy has been under the framework of scientific reductionism. We'll explain later, because she will talking about the critique of this scientific reductionism, the foundation for today's democracy. And with the framework of scientific reductionism, we thinking in a divided manner. We divide between people and nature, between welfare and sustainability. For Vandana Shiva, this is pseudo dichotomy. But because our democracy is based on binary logic, we create anthropocentrism based democracy. Only human existence are recognized, and nature is not being is not recognized. Nature voice are not recognized. But in turn, after the nature voice was turned off, was expelled, was the human or the common here voice also turned off. So actually for Vandana Shiva, when we thinking democracy in binary logic, to separate human from the nature, actually it will affect human also. Human will be erased also, and only elitism or in Vandana Shiva perception, corporatism become the true rule. So we can find the similarities or parallelity of this idea in the George Orwell thinking, that all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. So today's democracy claim that all people are equal, but actually no, it is only elite that are more equal, not the common people. Yes. Vandana Shiva said that it is true, but we can see the reality that there are many policies that are contrary to the will of citizens. For example, about the nuclear energy policy in India, many people in India reject this, but government still made this proposal. The Iraq War in US, UK. Many people in America and United Kingdom oppose the war, but the war is continue. Climate problem in Canada, government is still they still strengthen their dirty policies. They not adopt the green policy. So actually, today's democracy is not counting the voice of the people and the environment. So yeah, according to Vandana Shiva, the logic of democracy, today's democracy, actually lead to civilizational suicide. Yeah, because actually the common and the environment are become the victim. Yeah. So yeah, and in the future, she predict that if this logic of yeah, today's democracy is continue, maybe the Earth is not be longer a safe planet again, because yeah, there's many distraction. But uh, in the economic field, in the social field, in the uh, environmental field. Yeah. So for Vandana Shiva, we need to shift our consciousness toward our democracy to prevent this civilizational suicide. Yeah. This her idea. And I will talking about how she try to reconstructing the democracy based on the logic of interconnectivity. So yeah, Shiva unique idea is that what is happening now, environmental damage, poverty, even religious conflict, cannot be separated from the problem at the mind level. This problem then materialized into action that are destructive both toward nature and each other, toward the fellow human. It can be said that the Shiva thinking is in line with Plato, who think the action with the truth he or she believe in, yeah. The unity of action of knowledge. So we can say that the way you design the world in your mind, what you believe in your mind, what you think, is the way you relate to it in the real world. If we thinking in binary logic, we will actually we will actualize it in the real world. We will divide man and nature. We divide human and another human, something like that. So for Vandana Shiva, problem at the mental level cannot be separated from the mechanistic worldview that affected our mind. Seeing the reality as independent parts that are not related to each other. Coupled with binary logic, which emphasize the supremacy of me over other, because binary logic is us and the other can be many things, yeah, other human, other nation, other and nature. For Shiva, this view is so hegemonic because it is justified as a true belief by modern science. And Shiva himself experienced a process of detoxification from this kind of worldview because of two things. He entered the Chipko movement and also her introduction to quantum physics. So he want to, she want to, build a new consciousness based on quantum physics. In old physics, there's aspiration, but in quantum physics, it gives a basis for new ontology. There's no aspiration, only interconnectedness between human and other human and the universe. So there's only a potentiality and uncertainty. So it's very dynamic. There's no clear cut like in old physics. There's no binary logic. There's no law of excluded middle. And Shiva says that at the ontological level, scientific finding actually, especially in the quantum physics, have provide a new picture of reality that is not reductive, not seeing reality separated, but it's strongly connected. However, even though in the theoretical field, science has produced a more ecological and humanistic worldview, but at the practical level, in Vandana Shiva view, mainstream science or development of science and technology is still trapped with this reductive logic, the old physics. So according to Shiva, this reality, why they not develop science in the new paradigm? Because there is context, special context, because the development of science is connected to the military world, military industrial complex that want to strengthen the dichotomous pattern as them. And interestingly, for SIFA, the target of this militaristic science are not only directed at combatant or enemies from other countries, but are now also being extended to civilization in general. Of course, according to SIFA, scientific work in the non-military field is camouflaged with the jargon of human welfare. And in this non-military field, the close connection between economic and now, not only military complex, but also capitalistic in general, right? Capitalistic regime in general, there's a connection between the economic and the development of contemporary science. So the capitalistic order do not want to remove the old paradigm, because capitalistic is based on the, according to SIFA, logic of binary logic. So this is the commodity. This is capitalism does not accept the logic of interconnectedness, because all things want to be divided and sold. Like this. Now, if Pandana Siva want to build his democracy with the new physics foundation, so I will try to propose that besides the new physics foundation, we can also find the metaphysical foundation, and we can find this metaphysical foundation, for example, in Radhakrishnan
Mas
idea.
Nurudin,
Yes.
Mas Nurudin, you have minutes left, yeah?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So for Radhakrishnan, the world has been shrinking, because advance of communication and technology. He believed that we now entering the unified world, but only in physical. But we need the metaphysical base so we believe like that. We have physical connectivity in body, but not in soul. But in the Radhakrishnan view of civilization is about body plus soul. If there's no soul, body minus soul, so what happened is destruction. So we need the body and soul to become a healthy civilization. This is his concept. He believed that how to make sure that there's a connectivity, the world connectivity in the metaphysical sense. He thinking about the religion can play a role, but to connect it, religion must be actualized in the metaphysical thinking. But I will explain in short. So civilization need material foundation. We can say that Siva place can be placed here, science and technology, transformation of outer nature, but we also need the spiritual foundation, religion, and to transform our inner nature. This is the what Radhakrishnan offer about his concept of Tattvam Asi. So actually, the Tattvam Asi is about we must human has lost his way because he was turned toward by his senses and so lost contact with himself. So Tattvam Asi is actually to reconnect human with his soul. So this is about connectivity again. So I will move to conclusion. Yes, so I will say that the idea of our democracy is based on the spirit of reconnection between human and nature and human and other human. This idea is a criticism of the contemporary conception of democracy, which is built on the metaphysics of anthropocentrism, which negated the intrinsic nature of intrinsic value of nature and also human actually. Yeah. In turn, this negation of the intrinsic value of nature and human actually turn around into negate the intrinsic value of human, which in modern democracy is reduced to mere number, yeah, and can be easily manipulated throughout the collaboration of politician and corporation. This study agrees with Siva that the reconstruction of democracy necessitate the reconstruction of human consciousness or human mind. Yeah? However, the study believes that the reconstruction of consciousness can only be built on the foundation of new, not only in the new physics, but also in metaphysics. The metaphysics offered by Radhakrishnan based on the concept of Tatwam Asi can be alternative because it is ecumenical, can be basis for the interreligious dialogue, and integral nature because it will connect body and soul. In other words, physics and metaphysics become inseparable as the foundation of our democracy. So it is strengthening the original idea of Siva and not become a conflict with it. So that's my that what I can share. Thank you. Yeah, I end my presentation here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Nuruddin. May I ask you where you come from, department in Universitas Gadjah Mada, philosophy department?
No, from political department.
Oh, political department. I also from political department, and I'm still doing my PhD in DPP.
Oh, okay. So we are from the same department.
Yeah, so I think we have the same background, and it is very interesting when you are talking about Earth democracy. Yeah, I think we are all here are already have a very deep knowledge about democracy, but when we are listening to Earth democracy, I think it is such a new term for us, especially for me, because although I study, my basic is in political study, especially in international relation, but when we are talking about Earth democracy, it is coming something new for me, because during time we always talking about ecological, the politics of ecological and something like that. And for presentation, I think we have to rethinking, yeah, or we can challenge the adagium of democracy, that of the people, for the people, and by the people, because it is very anthropocentric, I think. Because from the presentation that you are talking afternoon, I think it's very interesting. And if I want to connect with other presenters from Mas Musdodi and also from Mr. Oluwasegun, there is a connecting line here when we are talking in this especially in this panel session, because the main idea, I think, when we are talking about democracy, when we are talking about development, the main idea is inclusivity and connectivity. Without these two basic idea, there will be many challenges that will be have faced by human itself. Just like when we are talking about conflict in all over the world now, many of the source of the conflict is about natural resource. I think we can agree with that. Just like in Africa, in Saudi Arabia, the main, I think the main factor of conflict there is related to the natural resource. I think I don't want to make a conclusion of all of your presentation, because it's very interesting to talk. So I open the challenge the time now for a discussion. Maybe from Mas Nuruddin or Mr. Oluwasegun and Mas Musdodi want to want to get more information from of your each presentation. Please, I will give you a time. Still have 30 minutes. So if you want to ask to each other, please.
maybe I think because I have a problem with electricity problem, so I don't hear the full presentation of Mr. Okun Sakin, yeah. So I only listen to Mr. Musdodia. I think it's about the suku anak dalam, suku anak dalam, ya, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Yes, I think we from there we can say is that yeah, we reduce the for example our concept of development, our concept of happiness, our concept of even of life, yeah, art of life, yeah, in very narrow way, yeah, because we think about, oh, this is very this is only a mechanistic problem, so we will give them suku anak dalam a house, a modern house, and they can live here and problem solved, yeah. So this is very, I think, very narrow thinking. But if we connect with the mind of the suku anak dalam or suku, we can know what they really want. And when we also connected our thinking that suku anak dalam cannot be separated from their forest, yeah, we can know that though, so the housing, yeah, program is false, yeah. Not like that. So I think if I connect with my presentation, I think that the problem in suku anak dalam is also the problem of connectivity. There's no connectivity between the government or the state with the society. There's disconnectivity between the elite and the common. And actually, also there's a disconnectivity between our thinking about the welfare and human welfare and environmental welfare. So there's many problems because yes, if I relate to Vandana Shiva, because we are thinking in very atomistic and binary. So we think in very discrete manner. We don't think in holistically. And I think this problem also has been highlighted by the Christoph Sapra. So we are very thinking in very narrow. So we cannot solve the problem because we cannot see the bigger picture. So maybe this is my comment. Yeah. Maybe Mr. Musdodi want to to give the reply or maybe comment from my
Okay,
from
thank
my,
you, Mas Nurudin.
comment.
Maybe there are some response from Mas Musdodi, please.
Yes, I think that's very clear from Mas Akbar, according to what happened in suku anak dalam's life, especially in Jambi, because when we think about modernity, we think about complete facility, we think about the rich, but they are very different to us who live in modern society. They only want to unite with the forest. They only want to become a part of nature. So that's the higher position from them to become their interest for nature. So yeah, thank you, Mas.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Musdodi, for your response. Maybe another question or discussion from Mr. Oluwasegun, maybe to Mas Nurudin and also Mas Musdodi.
Okay. Yeah. I remember last week I completed because I'm so much interested in Musudid presentation. Last week I was able to complete a program on indigenous people's rights in Africa from the University of Pretoria. It's from their department, Center for Human Rights. And we discussed about the issue of human rights, especially in Africa, whereby just like what Musudi talked about modernization, whereby every time or every day we see development going on everywhere in the world, and most people that have been affected by all these modernizations of development are the indigenous people, whereby their land are being forcefully taken away from them without the necessary provision by the government, so that they will not be impacted negatively. I will give an example. In Nigeria, in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria, if we are so conversant with Nigerian, politics and other issues, this region is so rich with oil, with crude oil, with a lot of natural resources, gases, and lots of things. And the government discovered that there is crude oil, and what happened? They collaborated with international corporation, to start exploring the region of their crude oil without providing for them, because these indigenous people are fishermen. They are fishermen. Their major work is fishing, and it's a riverine area. And we have a lot of cases whereby we have oil spillage, destroying their source of livelihood, and that's, the river, whereby it destroyed the ecosystem. And just like what Nuruddin talks about, the metaphysics, the metaphysics of democracy, the earth democracy, these are connected because this affected the people. Their rights are being, how would I say it, are being trapped on, whereby the voice of the indigenous people are being, subdued without intervention for these people, because their rivers are being polluted by the oil that are being extracted from their region. And this is a shamble to democracy. It's a shamble to achieving a sustainable human rights inclusion. And just like what I said, although the federal government of Nigeria come into action by cleaning some part, but we have a consistent oil spillage on the river, on their source of revenue, whereby you see a lot of fish is dead and the water is not drinkable. This, I think there's a lot to be done by listening to the indigenous people, putting the right policy into action in protecting people's rights against attack. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwasegun. What a very interesting insight. And I think Mas Musnodi, maybe you want to give just like a little response to Mr. Oluwasegun, because I think Mr. Oluwasegun want to just like make a comparison between what is happening in indigenous community in Nigeria and also in Indonesia. Do you see the similarity between this situation maybe?
Yeah, I found the similarity between the Nigeria country with Sukunak Dalam, what happening there, because they both to get the rights for freedom, they get the rights for humanity, and they want to give the better for community, but sometimes the government didn't understand. The government only use the kebijakan from top to down, but never try to give an approach to the community to see and to get their interests, what they really need to do. The government didn't accept and didn't did that to the community. So there is a gap between the government and community, and the gap will be clear if the government itself come to the community and listen to them and give them an opportunity to speak and give the people the right for what they need and what they really want to do. So that's all for me, Mas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mas Musdodi. I think from this presentation, there is just like Mas Musdodi want to give us just like a description about the situation of the development in Indonesia, Mr. Oluwasegun, that when we are talking about development, then when we are talking about wealth, and when we are talking about just like how to make people happy, the government from just like from central government, they are still trapped in just like developmentalist logic. So when we are thinking about development, it means we have to modernize people. That's why when we are when we are want to modernize people, I think it is very not suitable with the situation of indigenous community in many places in Indonesia, because like the government describe what they are need, not this community describe what they are need. Just like uh, top down approachment from the government, then makes a community, indigenous community in Indonesia, have a very like participation in policy making. And I think maybe the situation is the same in Nigeria or Africa, yeah? Because these indigenous communities still have a very limited access to policy making, and also to engage in political system.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I think I would just love to just say a little bit about that. Yes, in Africa, there is no respect for human rights, especially in Nigeria. Let me just use that. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
And I think it's as a result of maybe because of colonialism,
of course,
maybe of past events.
Yeah.
And whereby colonialism structure is
Of
still the
course.
same ideology we are implementing in our own democracy. Let me just use our own democracy.
Of course, yeah.
And in Nigeria, for example, let me give you an instance about this same Niger Delta region. We have the indigenous people called the Ujo indigenous people. We have I'm trying to get the name of one of the indigenous people again, the Ijaw people, and also the Shakekiri people. These are the predominantly indigenous people there. But anytime government wants to do anything, just like what you said, from top to bottom, not from bottom to top. So they just, straight, just I think we are in a military regime, just do whatsoever they like. I remember during the time of the first, after the fourth democratic dispensation of Nigeria, when there was, when one of the military died, was killed by the indigenous people as a result of encroachment into their land, the present government have to send a battalion of of military men to that to that region, to the indigenous people, and killed many people, causing a kind of a genocide into the life of those people as a result of maybe the people have to fight back because of their land. Maybe probably they went to go and kill one of the military, and as a result of that, the government sent military to cause a kind of a genocide in that land. Many people were killed. You understand? And this is the current situations that are happening in other places, especially the indigenous people, whereby their rights are not, their voices are not being listened to. And this, is a continuous thing. So the kind of democracy we are practicing in Africa, in Nigeria, and some other parts of Asia it cannot be right about, because we do not give that human rights respect. Human dignity. We do not listen to the voice of the people. So I think this is what also is happening in Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Oluwasegun. I think this is the big dream all of us, because what already presented by Mas Nuruddin, I think that is the Earth democracy is maybe becoming the final stage of the sustainable democracy that you say before, because up till now, in my opinion, when we are talking about democracy, the problem between people to people is not yet finished. If this problem is not yet finished, how then we can talk about the relation between people to nature? Because I think if we want to go deeper to Earth democracy, the problem here between people to people is already solved first. Then we can go to think about the bigger concept of democracy itself, Earth democracy. And I think all of us maybe also agree that the inclusivity and connectivity, whether it is in Nigeria context or Africa context, and also in Indonesia context, is still the same. You know, both of us, Indonesia and Nigeria, have the same experience, that is colonialism. And colonialism has shaped many things in society, from the situation of society, from the state of mind, the thinking, so many things. I think we can share same experience, yeah, Mr. Oluwasegun. So I think this is not the last time we can hear about this in our in our study program. You know, we have just like weekly discussion. We call that Wednesday forum. So I think that will be a better chance for us, for Mr. Oluwasegun, Mas Nurdin, and also Mas Musdodi. Mas Musdodi is the same, coming from the same department with me. And the Wednesday forum is organized by our study program. So if you want to share more about your idea, your site, maybe next the Wednesday forum for this semester is already done. We will start it again in February 2024. So I think we can invite you, Mr. Oluwasegun, and also Mas Nuruddin. Yeah, for Mr. Oluwasegun, we can do it online because it is very expensive coming from Nigeria to Yogyakarta, I think. Unless if you if you have a program or activity in Yogyakarta, we can invite you to present in this Wednesday forum. And Mas Nuruddin, it is very interesting to talk about Earth democracy, because it is very related, I think, with what we are now try to mainstream here in ICRS and also CRCS. There is a planetarium idea of humanity. And I think that's all, yeah? Or maybe, yeah, Mr. Oluwasegun.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Prof. I believe I'll be so much interested in that forum. I don't know if the link to join can be shared probably in our WhatsApp group of the conference, or here. I would love to join. And also, the presenters, I would love to have your slide, you know, just to go deep dive into your various topics. I would love to have it, and I would love to share my email.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and we can connect also on LinkedIn, I think. So
you can put your email in the chat, meeting chat. Okay. Okay, so please, Mas Nuruddin and Mas Musdodi, please kindly share your slide power.
And I will also share mine also. I will also share mine.
Yeah. Because we have to connect, yeah? Because that's the main idea of our discussion this afternoon, connectivity and inclusivity. Okay, I think that's all. We are from the committee of this international conference. Want to say thank you very much for Mas Musdodi, Mas Nuruddin, and also Mr. Oluwasegun for give a very fruitful contribution in this conference, and hopefully we can also meet in other part of our academic program. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.